Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I've got the all-new 2022 Sport X10 earbuds available for $80 on Amazon. I want to thank Soundcore for sending these out. I think this is the first time I've seen them make these type of sports earbuds. Well, one thing that's a little different from the other sports earbuds is that the ear hooks are rotatable. It's the first time I'm seeing it, so that's kind of nice. IPX7 waterproof and sweatproof, so you don't have to really worry about water, even if you're going out for a swim, I believe. There's hybrid active noise canceling. I think this is available in pretty much every Soundcore pair of earbuds. The battery seems to be pretty decent on here, so let's go ahead and see what we get inside. Remove these plastic parts underneath. You're introduced with the earbuds case. Underneath that should be, looks like there's a setup guide, user guide, and charging cable, along with extra buds on the bottom. Just to be clear, this is a USB-C cable to charge it, and the charging port is back here. You can press this button to see, I think, the charge on here. And either way, when you press the middle button, it opens up the case. So those are your earbuds in there. They look kind of interesting. Don't look too heavy, but I guess I'll have to test it out. These earbuds are not too heavy or anything. I like how they can expand or contract the hook specifically. I mean, this hook is pretty flexible because it's all rubber, and I can appreciate that because that makes it a little more comfortable to wear. I've got pretty big ears, and these fit just right in. The one convenient thing about having a hook is when someone's talking to you, instead of just taking your earbud out, you can just pop it out of your ear and it's just going to hang there until you put it back in. I only had maybe less than a handful of earbuds with a hook, so these are called like sports earbuds, and they work pretty well. I like them when you're going out for a run or something. They're really useful. I use these for the gym and I had no problems whatsoever. It did feel like one part was falling off, but it never actually came out. So, I mean, the hook is what helped it stay in place. The only time you'll have a problem with these is if you wear a mask going out. This tends to get kind of tangled up with the mask. So that's one of the downsides for people who wear masks. If you do, then you're going to want to pass on these. But to everyone else in the world, you'll be just fine. This is pretty easy to connect. Just find where it's on Bluetooth where it says Soundcore Sport X10. And then you can also connect it through the Soundcore app, which I highly recommend downloading when you get a pair of Soundcore earbuds, because this enhances the music or sound by quite a bit. They have the app pretty well optimized for the earbuds, and you can go down here for breathing to get into a warm-up mode, relaxation, decompression, or even have your own style. That's the first time I'm seeing this on the Soundcore app, which I use pretty often whenever they send me a pair. And you're able to adjust your controls on here. If you press twice, you can adjust instead of next. You can have it as like previous or play pause, for instance. And the controls are pretty easier. They're actually nicer than having like a touch button. It makes it easier when you need to adjust something. You can just like press down, and it's not going to slide away or like pop off because obviously there's that hook. It's really nice to see this level of versatility on here. And then finally there's the equalizer where you can adjust it with Soundcore Signature. And I would say that these earbuds are probably not worth it without this equalizer right here, because the level of support in adjusting the equalizer really enhances the sound experience. We'll get to sound in a moment. But I will say that I like the options here. I usually have it at Soundcore Signature or acoustic if I want it a little louder. And then there's bass reducer too. Speaking of bass, I've heard mixed things about bass on here, where in one review someone said there's not enough bass, in the other they said that it's overbearing. I'm not exactly an audiophile, so I won't say too much on bass, but I'm just not, I don't feel like there's enough here. As someone who listens to EDM and other stuff that requires bass, I just wish there was that like kind of thump that you feel. You can hear the bass but not really feel it, if that makes much sense to you. And I get it, you know, these are earbuds and they're only going to do so much at this price range too. But nonetheless, it's there and it is decent. Like, the sound quality is pretty balanced with the mids and everything. I do wish it got a little louder, and acoustic does help. It makes a huge difference here. versus not having it, because when I'm in the gym I really like to keep it loud and get myself going and get a pump going in. So yeah, like I said before, these have stayed on pretty well with me. Here's one issue that arises. When I'm watching something, there's a slight delay. It may not be noticeable to the average person, but there is some latency or lag. This latency or lag is going to be more noticeable when you're playing games. So this is not good for gaming by any stretch of the imagination. Watching movies, maybe, if you can overlook the slight delay. Like, I noticed that when they start talking, like, it shows up maybe like a quarter of a second after, like, the voice comes in a quarter of a second after it. So there is that little hindrance. The other issue is the microphones. So on here, there's a couple of mics, and the person could hear me well still and vice versa. It's just not the quality you'd expect. Like, the quality is, I would say, subpar. It's not as good as my iPhone. It's probably not as good as any new Android phone either, but nonetheless, it's there if you need to talk to people. It's a little harder to hear outside, but you can still manage it depending on how busy or loud things are around you. But nonetheless, I think these are a decent choice to pick up for the gym, and mainly for the gym. And so if you're in the market for that, also the other factor is that you're able to put it in these, like, in this case and just take it with you on the go. It's like easier than the other ones that have hooks, the other earbuds with hooks on them. So, and one other small downside is that there's no wireless charging. I actually take advantage of wireless charging, or I did take advantage of it before when Soundcore included them in it. But it's a small thing, so it's not really a deal breaker or anything. It's just a slight inconvenience. But nonetheless, I think these are, like I said, a decent choice to pick up for the gym. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and leave a like if you did find this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching.